Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 13th, and we are kicking off our earnings season here. And what do we have coming along? Well, we've already had Pepsi, and we are looking at JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs are kicking off those big bank earnings. So what is this here that I'm looking at? I am looking at Earnings Whisper, and I tell everybody this, especially when it comes to earnings season, but it's good just to check it. Make it a part of your routine every day that you come and check Earnings Whisper. Well, I have people tell me, well, I know that mine isn't reporting for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the the story may be. But something in your sector, if you're holding AMD and Micron reports, well, that can help. That can they move in sympathy with one another, whether it's good or bad. And so it's just a good idea to check what's coming up on the calendar. And if you're going to get into something, say I wanted to buy Apple today, but I don't know the date. You come up here to the ticker window, you punch it in, and it tells you when the next earnings are. Now, real quick on this, if there's a check mark right here, that means that they are a confirmed earnings. But if you pick a name and it has one of these little slash signs, that means that it is not confirmed. You can always go onto the company website and go into investor relations and find out. I have, especially smaller companies, I have emailed them. They email me back, right? We'll ask them when their earnings are, and they will email you back, especially if you keep bugging them like I do, because I believe it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. All right, so Earnings Whisper, check it out every day. I have it bookmarked, and I have it bookmarked to calendar so that every day it'll come up and tell me what's coming up, and then I can just say, oh, well, tomorrow, what's coming up tomorrow? I click on it, there it is. Bunch more banks. We have Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Delta coming up, BlackRock, PNC. So there's a bunch of them coming up. This week is really the big kickoff to this earnings season. So be sure to check. Make sure you know when they are coming, when those earnings are coming up. Now, if you trade in TOS, you will, if you have it selected in your settings, it will show you that there's earnings coming up. That's what these little red and blue dots mean. The green dot is the next div date, but the red and blue dots will tell you that there are earnings coming up. Now, just like any other ticker, there will be ones that come up that just have this blue question mark, and that simply means that they are not confirmed. Okay, so lots of different places to look. I always, even if they are on Thinkorswim, I tend to go check Earnings Whisper anyway. I feel that is just, they have a really good system for getting those earnings confirmed, earning dates confirmed very early. So please, please, please always know. I've heard many times, and I've been caught in this too, where I was in something, it was looking great, something else in that sector reported and crushed my position. Now, granted, a lot of times then it'll kind of swing back if that company then is about to have good earnings, but still, when you're in options, you may not have the time to allow that recovery to happen. Okay, so earnings coming up, and here's the look at the SPY, and we are continuing to do what? Just kind of grind higher. So this is the futures, this S&P 500 futures. This is what it translates here over to on the daily chart. So TOS doesn't give you the daily, like the current daily candle for pre-market, which kind of makes me crazy. But we are just continuing to kind of snake up this trend line that we have drawn in here. So yesterday when we were watching, and I think we had lighter volume, a little bit in anticipation of a lot of these earnings that are coming up, just to see where they land. How is the market going to react to those earnings? Even if they're good earnings, last season we saw that really good earnings didn't always manifest into really good price action afterwards. Sell the news, right? That does happen a lot. You lose your volatility. So something to definitely keep in mind. If you're going to hold through earnings, there's always a very big risk that it does not follow through on price action. So, but we talked about the lower volume yesterday. The other thing that I mentioned, especially at the close, when we had all green green candles, we were green all across the indexes, but the VIX as well was green. And I pointed that out a few times during the day, that when we flip green or we're pushing green, that we didn't see the VIX pull away. We didn't see it turn red. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see, it's a bit of a caution sign. Instead of the VIX being red, maybe we should just put a great big yellow over it. That it's a caution sign that maybe we're getting ready. Maybe we're a little overheated. Maybe we need a little break, take a little rest in the markets. And again, I think a lot of it too has to do with waiting for the reaction from earnings. So keeping all of that in mind, that is why I exited Starbucks early yesterday, or I didn't keep it as a swing, but it looks beautiful again this morning, and I have no problem coming right back in and coming back into Starbucks. So that does remain on our list. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that one this morning. The 820, 120 are the ones that I will continue to watch here. I like this Starbucks trade. It does have some room, and really playing for the breakout is where that's the play I want. I want to test this high and then push on. Really nice move up. Took the dip and moved along very nicely. Open candles tell us that we are closing on the top side of the candle. If the candle's closed, they give it like a window. Somebody's closing the window on you. You can't come in that way, so you have to go find something else to look at. The window's open, says, hey, come take a look at me. I'm closing, it may not be top side, but it's closing higher than the open in the candle that day. That is an invitation to look, say, hey, what's going on? Now, if you're playing short side, you want the closed windows, right? You want to see that we close bottom, bottom, bottom. That's what you want to see. So, okay, quick little lesson in there. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to a couple other charts. Now, every afternoon I come in and we run a few scans, and we have a few names that pop up, and those are the ones they're always on the very top of my list for the next day. And I'm going to start with Upstart. Now, this is the best part about being in a community. When I mentioned it, because I said, wow, this is really nice. I like this. It's getting out of its own way here. Look at all of this, accumulation, pretty, overall decent price action. But we've just been hanging out here. But yesterday we finally made that move above the 50. Our 3 and 8 have crossed. We're above the 20 now as well. Nice looking action. We built up some volume. And then Michelle in our community said, hey, you might want to watch out. This is catching a lot of chatter over in the Wall Street Bets side of things. So the meme stocks. And I'm like, wow, okay, not typically their type of stock or price action, I guess. But I am so thankful, because although I'm putting this out as a day trade potential, I would not hold it until I am sure that it has worked its way out of the meme stock system, so to speak. But the chart itself tells me we held this we were so volatile. We came in, we were like, okay, we're just going to take a break. We're regrouping, and now we're continuing to move up. So I do like Upstart for a day trade, and I would look at the 820, 130 on those. But again, a great shout out to the whole community, because it's so great to have all those extra eyes and ears, and I know that a lot of you are in other Discord channels and other services, and it's really all of us moving together that really helps make us a better team. I know that some think that I would be upset that you belong to other services, and it kind of makes me laugh, because I think that's just the way it is. I don't just shop at one grocery store. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the transparency when you take ideas from other services, or you heard something that you just let us know. It is welcome. I appreciate the honesty always. All right, so moving along here, ABBV is another one. Came up here, tested the high, right? Nice cross back here. Took the same little dip with all the other stocks, but pushed up. So this one's continuing to push higher. Now, I would have liked if this had stayed in the top end of this candle for today, but that's okay. I like this through the close of yesterday, so I like to kind of have myself prepared at the close there at 117.63. We have some nice little volume. Now we do go ex-div tomorrow, so keep that in mind. We have earnings coming up. So, you know, those are things that you have to be prepared for. Through the close yesterday is where I like ABBV. ABBV. I don't know why that's kind of hard for me to say. The 820, 130s playing for a break of this previous high. Now, why 130s? I will probably step that back to 120s if I see that there's some volume building there. It just, I don't know why I just had a little skip there in the options. So keep that in mind, that that one will very easily come back to a 120 type of play. All right. Steel. Looking for steel for a move over and a hold over the 50. We do have some volume resistance just up ahead, but nice bullish gap up, closing nice strong topside candles with some decent volume here. I like the 820 20x calls, 25. Again, earnings coming up. Here's another one. They are not yet confirmed, so go and make sure that you check that out if you intend to hop in and potentially hold it. Healthcare sector, right? Well, I guess apparently, you know, healthcare is not going away anytime soon. It's kind of like death and taxes. So earnings again coming up. Nice topside move. I like this. We're starting to build just a little bit more volume. When this moves and has, you know, a day like this, I mean, it really just can move so so fast. But there's very little resistance above yesterday's close, all the way up there to the 425 mark. So that's what I am playing for, is a test and possible breakout. Obviously not all in one day, but we'll see if we can get a good move in before those earnings. I like the 420s, the 820 420s there in UNH. Prologis. So, PLD. Okay, just a breakout play. Happened to hit the scan. Had some good volume. There are, again, earnings coming up. You're going to hear this in probably almost every chart unless it's just passed through. But I like this. Now, this is pretty extended, so I'd probably keep it more as a day trade unless we once again close topside candle. But Prologis, PLD, I'm looking at the 820 130s on that. All right, we've already talked about Starbucks, although that one's down here on my list. But I also want to talk about Moderna. Oh my goodness. This thing just keeps crushing it. And since it is continuing to work, why not work with it? I can't get this line to come out. All right. So looking, we have now cleared up a good amount of resistance. We have nice room up here to about the 250 mark and potentially a break of that. I like this on an entry over the high. Would love to push into this candle and then catch it right through the close of yesterday, which was 239.34, or on a break of the high of that candle. And I am watching the 820 Moderna mRNA 240 calls. Now, a couple others I would totally watch. I will be watching Space for a reversal trade. It just got smushed. Oh, hit with the ugly stick here, but I like it for a reversal play. I also like Apple here. So Apple finally took a little bit of a break here. So now a play back through the close of yesterday is for a reversal, or where I like it is through the close of the previous day. So looking at that 145.11 range for an entry, just kind of depending. It's sitting at 144.92 right now, so really close to the bottom of this. Wouldn't mind if it pushes down and then gives us that clean entry into that for an actual reversal play. Okay, so looking at all of those, I am going to obviously be watching for these earnings coming out here this morning. This may give us a very different picture as we move into the day. But remember, lots of earnings spreads out a lot of volatility and can give us a lot of excitement. Right, if they go well and we start actually playing those earnings well, like the market really likes it and reacts very well and pushes us. But remember, we hit highs again yesterday, and that VIX just held onto that red. So be caution. Just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying that we're about to fail or have some kind of crazy market correction. I'm not saying that, especially right here in earnings season, but I am saying that it does seem like someone's throwing up a few caution flags that maybe there's some rain on the track and we just have to, drive around a few times, get the track dry before we can take off again. That's mine for my NASCAR fans. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome day. If you have any questions, Heather C at GivingTreeTrading.com.